aquarianradio.com.
Aloha, this is Enki. You know me as Aquarius, and this is our age, the Sata Yuga, time to celebrate with us. We have programs on all chakra tantra, love styles and relationship choices, counseling strategies and techniques that you can use at home. We have extraterrestrial radio where we deal with alienology, paranormal people, and we have an experiencers network. We have a section called Ancient Aliens, and the programs therein are Enki Speaks, Nimma, the Mother of Humanity, has her program, and we revise ancient anthropology. And most important of all, we have peace paradigms, because this is the age of peace, harmony and understanding, sympathy and love abound. No more falsehoods or derisions, mystic crystal dreams and visions.
This is Enki.
It is I who 300,000 years ago created your race, and 200,000 years ago, it was a lot of fun, made it even better with some of the pretty girls. And it is I who saved you from the flood, and it is I and my beloved Nimma and my son Ningashiga Thoth who are here to help you overcome my runaway son Marduk, or Allah, my brother Enlil, or Yahweh, and free yourself from all the supposed gods and recognize your own great potential. You have much to teach us, and we, Anunnaki, those of us from Nibiru, welcome full partnership.
And here are your hosts, Janet and Dr. Sasha Lesson.
Aloha and welcome to Aquarian Radio. Today's show is Enki Speaks. The title of today's show is Astronauts Rebel at Marduk's Wedding. Today is January 9th, 2013, and I am your host, Janet Care Lesson, and our co-host, one second. I'm your host, Janet Care Lesson, and our co-host is Dr. Sasha Lesson. And today we'll paint some of the background of how Marduk, who later becomes Allah, allied with both the astronaut corps and the hybrid earthlings descended from his half-brother, Adapa. Sasha will introduce the subject, then we'll both read verbatim from Enki's lost book of Enki.
Okay. 13,000 years ago, a new ice age hit the Earth. The hybrid Nibiran erectus earthlings begged the Anunnaki, those who came from Nibiru, for more food. Enlil, later known as Yahweh, the chief of the Nibiran gold mining expedition to Earth, sent his son Ninurta beyond the seas and the mountain lands. That means he sent them to the Andes, a bond heaven-earth, that means transmission tower, to establish. In other words, he was seeing what was available, particularly from the highest places on Earth. Climate, magnetic storm, and skyborne terrors, that means comets, hit Mars base, where the gold refinery was, so that Enlil ordered Marduk to check the damage on Mars. Now, this is really important. Marduk and the astronauts are going to ally themselves with the Earthlings. And one of the big ways Marduk does it is he becomes engaged to the hybrid Sarpanid. After Marduk checked the destruction on Mars, he came back to Earth. He said he'd marry the Earthling Sarpanid, who was the daughter of his protege. His name was Enkime, and this is Enkime was a direct descendant of Enki's part Earthling son Adapa. Anyway, Marduk's mother, whose name was Damkina, she warned him, if he married Sarpanid, quotes, to Nibiru with his spouse he would never go. His princely rights on Nibiru he forever will forsake. To this, Marduk with a bitter laugh responded, my rights on Marduk are non-existent. Even on Earth my rights as firstborn have been trampled by Enlil and Ninurta. But Marduk would marry Sarpanit. He'd show his alliance with the Earthlings. He'd wield the Earthlings as weapons, and with them win mastery first of Earth, then Nibiru. Enlil, the commander, was not happy about this. He beamed King Anu on Nibiru. The Marduk-Sarpanit union forbid, is what Enlil asked of the king. But Anu and his counselors ruled, quotes, on Nibiru, Adapa, the maiden's progenitor, could not stay. Therefore, to return to Nibiru with her, Marduk must forever be barred. Marduk can marry, but on Nibiru a prince he shall no more be. Well, we'll see the astronauts are going to steal Earthling wives at the wedding. Enlil let Marduk and Sarpanit say that they would wed at Eridu. That's Enki's place in the Persian Gulf. But Enlil ordered the couple, after they wed, to go right to Egypt, which is supposed to be Marduk's area, it was in Enki's Africa. A great multitude of civilized Earthlings, as that's what Enki calls these hybrids, in Eridu assembled. Young Igigi, that's astronauts from Lamu, that's Mars, in great numbers came. It's interesting, Inanna, that's Enlil's granddaughter, flirted with Enki's son Dumuzi. These two were just sort of falling in love, and they were oblivious that the Igigi astronauts had planned to seize power for Marduk when Marduk and Sarpanit were going to marry. Well, as soon as they married, each astronaut seized an Earthling woman. The Igigi took Lebanon. They told Enlil, okay, you better okay our marriages or we're going to bomb Earth. We've got to the landing platform and you are at our mercy. The astronauts had taken the women back to Lebanon and quotes, into a stronghold, the place they made. They radioed Enlil, bless our Earthling marriages, or by fire, all Earth shall we destroy. Marduk, their commander, demanded that Enlil stop calling the Igigi and their women abductions and say no their marriages. Well, Enlil fumed, but he didn't press the issue. But things against Marduk and his Earthlings, Enlil plotted. Marduk settled some of the Igigi and the families they created, they were called the children of the rocket ships, in Babylon. And he and Sarpanit stayed with the other Igigi families in Lebanon. And some of these children of the rocket ships even settled in the far east lands, the lands of the high mountains.
One second.
Wait. Here we go. So Enlil ordered his successor, Ninurta. Look, you started a transmission tower in the Andes, but look, Marduk's Earthlings may well capture our landing fields in the Mesopotamia, and so the earth by Earthlings inherited will be, Enlil to Ninurta said. So go, take the offsprings of Cayenne, you'll find them in the Western Hemisphere, and prepare a domain for yourself, for us Enlilites on top of the Andes. So Ninurta floated Cain's, what they call them, descendants to South America. To meet Marduk's threat, Ninurta gathered Cain's descendants. He showed them how to build balsam rafts. Kon-Tiki, right? They crossed the seas on the rafts and settled at Lake Titicaca in the Andes. There, Ninurta taught them tin and gold mining. He taught them smelting, and he taught them refining. So now we're going to leave my narrative, and we're actually going to read from the Lost Book of Enki. Janet's going to start. This is Tablet 9.
Yes, we're reading from the Lost Book of Enki, Tablet 9. Okay, hold on. Let me
If you
get
put it in the middle, I
situated
can
here.
read it too, you know.
Okay, hold on. A bride I wish to choose, to have a spouse, it is my desire. So did Marduk to his father Enki say.
Oh, your words happy make me, Enki to Marduk was saying. Your mother too shall rejoice. To hold his words to Ninki, Marduk with a raised hand to his father motioned, is she one of the young ones who heal and succor give? Enki went on to ask.
A descendant of Adapa she is, of earth, not Nibiru, is she, Marduk softly whispered. With a puzzled look, Enki was speechless. Then uncontrolled words he shouted.
A prince of Nibiru, a firstborn to succession entitled, an earthling will espouse?
Not an earthling, but your own offspring, to him Marduk said. A daughter of Enkime, who to heaven was taken she is. Sarpanit is her name. Enki, his spouse, Ninti, summoned to her what with Marduk transpired he related. To Ninki, his mother, Marduk his heart's desire repeated, and said, when Enkime with me was journeying, and of heaven and earth him I was teaching. What my father once had said, I with my own eyes witnessed. Step by step on this planet, a primitive being, one like us to be, we have created. In our image and in our likeness, civilized earthling is. Except for the long life, he is we. The daughter of Enkime, my fancy caught, to her to espouse I wish. Ninki, her son's words pondered, and the maiden, does she your gaze appreciate? So did she, Marduk asked. Indeed she does, Marduk to his mother said. This is not the matter to consider, Enki was a raised voice said. If our son this shall do to Nibiru with his spouse, he would never go. His princely rights on Nibiru he forever will forsake. To this Marduk with a bitter laughter responded, my rights on Nibiru are non-existent. Even on earth my rights as firstborn have been trampled. This indeed is my decision. From prince a king on earth become the master of this planet. Let it so be, Ninki said. Let it so be, Enki also said.
When the decision Enki was told, with fury, Enlil was furious. With fury, Enlil to Anu on Nibiru of the matter words beamed up. Too far has this behavior gone. It cannot be allowed. In the rule books, however, no rule they found. On Nibiru, Adapa, the maiden's progenitor, could not stay. To return to Nibiru with her, Marduk forever must be barred. Having to earth cycles become accustomed, even without her, Marduk's return impossible might be. Let the decision to earth be beamed, Anu was saying. Marduk marry can, but on Nibiru, a prince he shall no more be.
The decision by Enki and Marduk was accepted. Enlil, too, to the word from Nibiru, bowed. Let there be a wedding celebration, in Eridu, let it be, Ninki to them said. In the Eden, Marduk and his bride cannot stay, Enlil, the commander, announced. Let us to Marduk and his bride a wedding gift make, a domain of their own, away from the Eden, in another land, so did Enki to Enlil say. Of Marduk being sent away, Enlil, with consent to himself, was thinking, to what land, of what domain are you speaking? Enlil to his brother Enki said. A domain above the Absu, and the land that the upper sea reaches. One that by waters from the Eden is separated, that by ships can be reached.
Obviously it's going to be Babylon.
So did Enki to Enlil say. Let it so be, Enlil said. In Eridu, a wedding celebration Ninki for Marduk and Sarpanit arranged. Her people by the sound of a copper drum the ceremony announced. With 7 tambourines, her sisters, the bride to her spouse, presented. A great multitude of civilized earthlings in Eridu assembled. Like a coronation to them the wedding was. Young Anunnaki also attended. Ijiji from Lamu in great numbers came. To celebrate our leader's wedding of Nibiru and earth, a union to witness we came. So did the Ijiji their arrival in large numbers explain.
In a great number did the Ijiji from Lamu, that's Mars, to Earth come. Only 1/3 of them on Mars stayed. To Earth came 200 to be with their leader Marduk. His wedding celebration to attend was their explanation.